Welcome to the Battle Ready Podcast. My name is Aaron McManus, and I am here with my dad, Erwin McManus.
Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, it's our 50th episode.
We only have one candle lit. What happened?
All right.
What happened? Is this 50?
There's a light in the darkness.
What's underneath this? I want some. What's
is
underneath
amazing.
this?
What is it? What kind of cake?
Kevin, come here. Put your face in the cake. Is it funfetti? No, it's not. Is it? Get us forks. We're gonna destroy this thing now.
All right.
50 episodes. Ready?
Wait a minute. This is amazing. We're celebrating our 50th.
We can't do it with our mouths. We can't do it with our mouth. We gotta do it with our hands. Ready?
One, two, three. All right.
Jedis! We got it. Happy
so
50th.
good.
Please don't.
That's the gift.
That's the gift.
That's the gift.
That's the gift. Okay. 50th episode. It's kind of a big deal.
Well, we just came off of Thanksgiving, and I guess there's a chemical for all of us that have been eating turkey. It's called tryptophan.
Tryptophan.
And I'm not a fan of tryptophan because it gets you sleepy, although sleeping is not a bad thing.
I slept so much this weekend.
Now, do we sleep because of the tryptophan? Do we sleep because of the gluttony?
Honestly, I kept coming over your house and falling asleep. And I on Sunday, I finally just apologized and was like, I'm so sorry. And you're like, no, it's fine. You feel safe here. And I was like, yeah. And I just literally passed out on the couch and just fell asleep again.
So today is our post or anti-tryptophan episode.
Yes. Post Thanksgiving. Hope you made it.
So we want to help you make the hard turn back to productivity.
Productivity.
So that's what I want to talk about.
Get started.
Just
do it.
What does your most productive day look like? That's what I want to talk about.
What does my most productive day look like? Well, today I was still a little hungover from the tryptophan because I honestly woke up like later than I normally do, and which is still fairly early. But
so what time do you normally wake up?
About 5:30.
You're a pretty early riser.
5:30 a.m. Yeah, most days. But sometimes we've been working on a project. Shout out to Ross Tanner and the crew in Europe, who's been helping me code the website for your new launch, which has been amazing.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and so we've been staying up pretty late. And then getting up pretty early because our time schedules are off, and so trying to stay up to date with that. And it was Thanksgiving morning, and I was up early on my computer working with Ross. And he's like, I know it's a holiday, but it's not a holiday here. Like,
and he's in Ireland?
I think he's in Ireland.
I
don't know where the other place is.
Or somewhere in the former Soviet Union.
I called him a Russian, and then he said, I know I'm Irish. But
okay.
So we worked on Thanksgiving. And then Mom finally yelled at me and was like, you can no longer be on your computer, put it away, or I'll put you away. But I'm really excited because, we're out of the Thanksgiving weekend. We are getting ready to launch the brand in 3 days.
Well, Erwin and Aaron McManus launches with its sub-brand Erwin. I'm so excited.
So excited. You're not an early riser.
I'm an early to bed.
No.
Yeah,
I go to sleep early in the morning.
That's right. I go to bed early in the morning. So
not healthy.
Early to bed.
The funny thing is that you've sent me to all of this sleep training, like studying sleep, studying my brain waves.
I'm a sleep expert.
You sent me to a place, which is it's actually incredible. Our friends are part of it, but they actually got a government grant. They're a part of the government process now for guys with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right. I always say sleep as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Is it sleep as I say, not as I do?
Sleep as I say, not as I do. But you have all these rules for being healthy and getting back on a cycle. You don't follow them though.
I try to.
You try to.
But when I get out of sync, I'm really out of sync.
Okay.
So right now, last night,
you went to sleep at what?
I went to sleep maybe pressing toward 2 and woke up about 4.
Oh.
So I got my.
But you tell me every day that, or almost every day that the desired sleep time, the healthiest time to go to sleep is between 10 and 2.
That's right.
Not go to sleep. You need to be asleep between 10 and 2.
That's right. Your brain actually only gets real rest, regenerative rest, if you're asleep from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Those 4 hours are the critical hours for brain health.
And this is a part of the brain study that we were both a part of.
A lot of. I've been a part of 3 neuroclinics over the years.
And if you're listening to us and you're like, what kind of brain study is this? 2 doctors that are part of our church
are part of one of those centers. That's right.
And so they kind of got us onto it, and it's really cool stuff. They actually work with football players, PTSD guys, basically anyone who's had dramatic brain trauma, whether it's collisions or maybe it's just you're not able to get on a sleep cycle, and they really help you train your brain.
And for anyone who's wondering, yes, I've had traumatic brain trauma.
Yes. Yes. And being your son, so have I. So have I.
I'm sorry for all the trauma that
Yes.
I forced you into throughout your life. But
So-
anyway, yes. I want to say that when I'm operating at my healthiest level, I'm sleeping before midnight. But that's been rare throughout my life. And right now I'm in a no sleep cycle.
You don't sleep much.
Yeah, and it's because I'm so excited about launching this
But we were
new
both
line.
But we were both talking about how we have like nervous ticks right now.
Yeah,
Like,
and so we
my
got
lip
these.
literally keeps ticking, like twitching.
So he's got a lip twitch, and
Yeah,
I got
here
an
it
eye
keeps, like,
twitch.
trembling.
So this is not bad already. The mental health podcast, but although I would say that we talk a lot about mental health because it's so important.
It is, and it's something we've struggled with, but also I feel like it's a mountain everyone's climbing to some degree,
Right.
Whether you admit it or not. And now we're in a generation and a time where people admit it more than
Which
ever
is
before.
so healthy.
Which
Yeah.
is the first step, is just admitting that you're going through something and telling someone you're not okay.
Yeah, and I said the difference maybe right now is that I'm not sleeping because 1,000 ideas are running through my mind. So I'm not sleeping based on excitement and energy and a positive force in that. Where it's dangerous is when you're not sleeping because of anxiety and stress and even depression. And so because it's odd to me, so oftentimes when people are depressed, they drink. And I have to remind them that the alcohol is a depressant and you're just adding to the problem.
Right.
And insomnia is a depressant.
Right.
And if you want to have the effect of drugs without taking drugs, don't sleep.
Right.
And so when you're depressed and you don't sleep, it adds to the depression. So you have to make sure that when you're in those more negative emotions that you get plenty of sleep. Right now, I would say I'm just super wired. I'm super excited. I'm super happy. I'm wired to go. And so I can't sleep because it's like Christmas Eve every single day waiting for the launch.
And I'm the elf. I'm all the elves.
You are all the elves working really hard.
Thank goodness we have an incredible tech team, production team, but a lot of our questions that we could not figure out get answered through amazing brains. But, shout out to Nicole Lewis, who has been like the photographer and product photographer for everything. And we have so many amazing friends who've just like come in, and I'm like, can you just come in and shoot for 2 to 4 hours? And they don't even know what they're shooting, and then ends up turning out really cool. In the other room, there's literally a shoot going on. I'm taking a break from here. You were shooting something earlier for Christmas.
Yep.
And it's just it feels like we're getting on a rhythm again. We're back at work.
And I want to give a shout out to
Gavin Newsom.
John Thomas. I want to give a shout out to Gab. I want to give a shout out to Carlos or
I want to give a
Carlitos.
shout out to Mayor Garcetti, who cannot keep me in my house. You cannot.
Oh, you're on a roll. All right. So I think we've already begun this conversation about
having fun.
Having your most productive day.
We are.
Because you cannot have your most productive day if you're not bringing your passion into that day.
No.
When you're doing something you're passionate about, you instantly increase
my
the
lips
capacity.
twitching again. I'm nervous. Keep going. I'm sorry. I'm just going to point it out when it's happening. Keep going. When you have your most passionate day,
when you're doing something you love, when you're doing something you're passionate about, you become instantaneously more productive.
Yes.
And when you're doing something that you don't love, when you do something that's obligation or requirements, you usually do not bring the same level of passion and productivity.
So to achieve greatness, would you compare the achievement of greatness to an uphill battle? Like a mountain we climb. Let's get very biblical in it. Or anything, because when I was in Soul Cycle class with Angela Davis, which is so hard, and then on top of it, she is so hard and tough.
And she personifies passion.
Yes, but she also talks a lot about, because you tighten up. Like now I actually rode bike and I actually cycled for real, but like, not that it's not for real. Angela Davis, if you're listening to this, it's not that you have to understand what I'm saying.
And Angela Davis, if you're listening, where is my army swag?
Yes.
Okay. There's no merch coming this way.
No, there's nowhere. When you hit us up for that McManus discount, all I'm gonna say is, where's the army?
The discount is you get to.
The discount is. I'm just kidding. If she asks me anything, I'll say yes.
That's so true.
But like when you get on a bike, you turn the resistance up and you go. She said you got to climb. It's time to climb. It's time to climb.
Right.
When you're trying to achieve greatness, do you feel like it is an uphill battle at times? That do you have to become addicted to the climb?
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, that's a great principle. To be highly productive, you have to become addicted to the climb.
But then there's like workaholics, which Mariah says I'm a workaholic.
And she also is a workaholic.
Which is ironic. I just say you're a workaholic from home because she figures out how to like put her studio or do whatever she's doing in her house.
Brooke, you've worked for Mariah. Is she a workaholic?
She loves to work.
She loves to work, doesn't she?
Say it in the mic.
Say it into the mic.
She loves to work.
Yes.
We want a record of that. Mariah McManus is a workaholic.
So whenever she ats me and comes at me for, Aaron, you work too much, I'm like, Mariah, what did you just do 5 minutes ago? She's always working.
Yeah. But as your dad, I'm going to make an observation.
Okay.
You are happier when you're working.
Of course.
You're happier when you feel productive.
What else am I going to do? I'm single, man. There's nothing, there's no restaurants to go out to. What am I going to do? Sit at home? Watch The West Wing, which I do love. I'm on season 2.
You could try dating.
Where would you like me to go? Where would you like me to go? The grocery store? We can go to the grocery store. We can go get a coffee and go on a walk.
But let's talk about that. Let's break that down.
No ideas. You have no ideas.
No, let's break this down
You could not
psychologically.
date in this type of environment. What? Talk about it. What are you gonna say?
When you're working, you have adrenaline flowing. You have all the right chemicals, all the right chemical compounds inside of your body that are actually activating happiness. And we don't realize that we humans are a composite of chemicals.
Yeah.
And when we're passionate about something, when we're excited about something, when we feel productive and are stepping into our intention, we're actually elevating all those positive, whether it's the serotonin or the the testosterone or the adrenaline.
Yes.
And all that
blood pumping.
All that stuff is actually working when you're working.
Right.
And those are the very things that you need to get out of lethargy. So sometimes the catch-22 is when someone's depressed or apathetic or lethargic, the very chemicals they need to get out of that do not get activated while they're lethargic. You have to get up and go against your feelings. You have to go against what is actually holding you in paralysis and trust that the productivity will actually get all the right chemicals going again.
See, I love that. Okay, so sometimes I get in these slumps. Like I would feel like when I'm not working, I get really down.
Yes.
But then sometimes when I'm working on the things that I really don't love, I get really down.
Yes.
And not everything I'm going to do, I'm going to love.
That's true.
Like I don't love building a website. Like that was not something I loved. I did it because we needed to do it. And I liked working with the people I worked with. But like that's not something I love to do.
But you did it out of love.
No. I refuse. I did it out of like. I love you. And you asked me if I would like to do this.
Well, actually, I didn't even ask you if you'd like to do it.
You said,
I need you to do this.
This is where you are on a leadership podcast because you don't even ask. I just knew you weren't going to do the website. So I was like, I guess this falls on me. I started figuring it out and then you connected me with your like friend and then we ended up getting it all done. So,
but that again, we have another principle for being productive.
Okay.
The first one is bringing your passion. Because the more passion you bring, the more productive you become.
Okay.
But I think another principle in being productive is collaboration. Is realizing that even though you have a lot to do, everything you do isn't necessarily supposed to be done by you. It's about finding the right people that can help you move forward and accomplish great things.
This is an interesting thing because I call you out for this a lot. You tend to collaborate with people you don't need at all. Like I genuinely need Nicole to take the photo. Like I guess I could take the photos. They wouldn't be as good. I understand the concept of it. But like you are a true soloist that chooses to be collaborative. I am like the C squad that's trying to move up to the A squad.
No,
and sometimes they let me practice with them. Let me practice with them.
See, I think that's an illusion. See, the reason I'm seen as a soloist is because I'm so good at collaboration. And it's just like the...
I want sound effects.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Brian, where are the sound effects? How come we don't get great sound effects?
You just don't
Has
hear
our
them right
podcast
now.
not elevated to the place where we can have great sound effects?
I want explosions.
Absolutely.
No, it's the perfect example of the New York Patriots versus Belichick and Brady.
The Patriots versus the Miami Heat, for sure.
No. Different sports.
Yeah, Roger Federer versus Colin Kaepernick, for sure, yeah.
All right. Hey, stay with me for a minute.
I'm with you.
The big question was, did Tom Brady make Belichick, or did Belichick make Tom Brady? Did the coach make the quarterback, or the quarterback make the coach? And the irony is that neither one of them is the answer. It's the team.
It's Edelman. It's Julian Edelman.
Because now you see Brady not succeeding at the level that he had before with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you see the Patriots definitely not succeeding without Tom Brady.
It's like we watched a divorce, and they both pretended to be happier with other people, and they both just are tragically unhappy.
That's right, and that's the problem. Is that
I shouldn't be laughing about that.
In life,
yes,
you have rare opportunities to have true chemistry and collaboration. And what happens so oftentimes when you have genuine chemistry is that the sum total is greater than the sum of the parts. And you can actually begin to misperceive the value of the collaboration. You can think, oh, I'm so much better than everyone else, so I don't need them, they need me. And I think what you actually see in the Brady Belichick controversy is the sense of, I don't need the other person.
This is a Kobe and Shaq moment.
Very, very much. Like Kobe couldn't understand that.
Except for Kobe won, though.
No, if he had been able to see that his greatness was elevated by Shaq's greatness, they would have had probably 8 championships, and he would have been in conversation of the greatest of all time.
They both
singularly outside of Jordan. But because being solo was more important than being collaborative, that chemistry was lost. And
they both went on to win one, though, right? Without each other.
Kobe got 2 more without Shaq.
And then Shaq got 1 more with the Heat, right?
Shaq got 1 more with the Heat.
Wait.
Yeah. And my point is that there's clear greatness in both of them, and clear greatness in the franchises. But there are unique moments where when you collaborate, you have a chemistry that makes you greater than you would ever be apart. So I think it's funny that you would call me a soloist, because the way I would have described myself throughout my life is I had no unique talent. And so because I had no unique talent, I had to learn how to, if you have no unique talent, but extraordinary vision for life, you have to find a way to collaborate. You have to become an orchestra conductor. So if you're not the cellist, and you're not the violinist, and you're not the percussion, and you're not the brass, and yet you want to create great music, you have to see the value of being the conductor. You don't make a sound, but you create a extraordinary sound, bringing people together. And that's what you're doing right now. And you're bringing a team together, and you're really good at, even though you say you're not good at collaboration, when the productivity increases, when the demand for excellence elevates, you start looking for people that you can bring together to do something really extraordinary. So to optimize productivity, passion, collaboration, and what would you think?
Commitment. Because I'm not very good at commitment. And I feel like when you don't achieve productivity if you're not committed to the project.
I agree 100%.
But maybe that's a prerequisite, but I feel like there's a lot of people who work for people that they're not committed to.
Yeah. A lot of productivity comes down to this really, really unsexy thing called hard work.
Like, are you willing to be here until the project is finished?
Yeah. And you're I'm going to be the first one there and the last one to leave kind of person.
For sure. Like, yeah, for sure. And
you have a hard time tolerating people who show up late, leave early.
I really do.
Because you show up early and leave late
because you want them. Because I can't think of a person that isn't like that in our world now.
But you really love when people elevate with you, and bring the same level of hard work.
I just feel like I love watching people give everything they have. Right. Mm-hmm. And even if they're going to a place like I can't go with them anymore, because there's so much in our world where it's technically specific, where like I can't do that with them, but I can check in and say hi, or I can go see what it's like, and I get really excited about the finished product. But I think it's because I'm more of a coach. Like I've always seen myself more as the coach player than the person on the team, because I enjoy the continual practice and the continual search for new talent and like observing the talent and getting to witness it and be a part of it. I still do this a lot. I think I'm a number 2 in an organization, and someday I'll be a number 1 maybe, but I enjoy being a number 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's basketball references, because I enjoy like being a part of the crew sometimes, or just scouting talent and seeing what's going on. But with that, so commitment, I don't feel like you can ever get to a place where you're passionate or get to a place where you're truly collaborative unless you're committed to not only the team, but to the project or to the thing at hand, the task at hand.
Yeah.
There's been moments in my life where I know I'm not committed to it, and so I don't give it everything. I give it a piece of me, not the whole part of me. Yeah. And then how do you do that? How do you be committed to something and achieve productivity without losing yourself in the commitment? Because I think oftentimes, like I've turned down, like we were talking, you keep always messing with me about going on a date, but like I jumped on a FaceTime while we were shooting something and with Nicole, and she's taking photos right now. But then jumped on FaceTime with a girl, and we were like gonna hang out, and then we worked for a while longer, and then we worked the next day, and then we worked the next day, and I didn't have time to hang out with her. And even though I tried, it was also like, I'm not gonna give up what I'm committed to like go and figure this thing out. And I think I make a mistake at times, but then at the other times I'm like, other people don't have the luxury of choosing when to work and when not.
Right.
So I'm going to choose work most of the time, unless I genuinely need to not work. So
and
how
by the
do
way,
you balance commitment?
That's what people who oftentimes choose a stable salary don't understand of people who are actually, who choose entrepreneurialism.
Entrepreneurship?
Yeah, because the entrepreneur doesn't work less than the person on salary.
No, he works. It works way more.
You have to work way more. And the person who owns a company, they don't work less than the employee who works for the company. They have to work more, or they will not have a company. And so hard work is a huge part of success in this kind of dynamic. But you actually said something else that really inspires me. You talked about how you loved identifying things and pulling things out of people, pulling talents and gifting. And I realized both of us have one of our what is called upcycled or repurposed pieces for McManus, for Erwin and our family McManus, and you have a hero human.
Yeah,
I think I have one too, right?
You do, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, this is such a beautiful human metaphor, because we're finding discarded pieces that other people may not see value in. We're adding a little bit of, a lot of design and an inspiration to them, and creating higher value for them. And I think one of the things in life, and I think it's because you feel it's a part of your story, you feel that oftentimes you were overlooked, or people didn't see the potential, the talent in you.
For sure. I think even now, I'm never the first choice.
And so you kind of, there's a sense of wanting someone to see the potential in you and upcycle you and go, oh, I see what you can do. And so you upcycle people all the time. You take people that others would overlook or others would discard, and you pull them in and you give them responsibility, and you really do pull them into a higher level of their own productivity.
Yeah, I would say, I would say this, because, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I'm on his team, am I like not up to the level? No, I'd say I'm surrounded by really talented people, but like my personal life, like a lot of my friends are quirky because I'm weird. Like I'm a weird dude. So then most of my friends are pretty different. And I was talking about this with someone. I was like, I will never choose a famous person over a really interesting person in my entire, because I don't think fame's interesting. But like, because we need to
put that on the board.
No,
I will never choose a famous person over a really interesting person. I think that's really a good insight. I like that.
I'm trying not to go in on anyone that we know, so I'm gonna be very careful. But what I mean by this too is like you look at like I think Mosaic on a scale, like whenever people come into Mosaic, they're like, wow, this is everyone's fascinating, because people are truly unique. And I think that's a different, like I don't think there's a lot of like most people go to find community in places where people are just like them. But I think the commonality of Mosaic is that we all believe in something really special, and we believe in the way that it's messaged, but then we are also really committed to the differences in each other. And that's something I really have always resonated with, to the point where it sometimes can feel lonely, because you're like, why isn't there someone else that gets this? like a wife or even a girlfriend or even a girl to go on a date with. Can I get an amen, Brian?
Amen.
Amen.
How about just a friend who's a girl?
But then I just am like, but then I'm like, people are boring, and I get over them, and I'm like, you look cool, but you're boring, and so I have that issue. Where
Okay,
I'm
so
like,
what makes a person interesting?
what makes a person? Well, when the fact that like when other people just talk about other people, they're not interesting. When they can talk about anything else, and I think so many people in LA only talk about other people.
But you know what I think is
It's
the least
TMZ
interesting?
thing. What?
The least interesting thing is when a person only talks about themselves,
Ugh.
right? I mean, so maybe
Sometimes it's fun. Though.
So if you're only interested in yourself, or if you only talk about other people, that puts you in the less interesting category. So now let's talk about what makes a person more interesting.
I think what makes people more it's just like we watch a lot of old British shows because Mom loves them. So during the holidays, it's like watch Emma. I'm like, well, I don't want to watch Emma. Watch Pride and Prejudice. I do like Pride and Prejudice, but let's watch. And they talk a lot about like what is it? Brooke, what is the word?
Regency?
No, it's like an achieved girl. It's
an accomplished.
An accomplished. They use this phrase like she's an accomplished woman. Like they know languages and they
play the
piano and
or
they
the
play
harpsichord.
Yes, and then they read multiple books a week and they're like all of these things. And it's like you can like they can ride horses and they can cook and they can hunt and they can do like they can sew and they can whatever. I'm not trying to be misogynistic, but that at the time that was the thing. And so, but I look at that and I'm like, no, that's kind of like what else can you do? Like I get like because the question in LA is what do you do?
Or maybe what else are you interested in?
Or like I guess so, but like I like the other stuff. Like whenever you ask someone. I don't know, people who are transparent, it's just more interesting when people are open about their lives. I hate when you have to dig stuff out. And also, it's like, what do you do? If that's all you are, then we have problems.
Right, so you think an interesting person is a person who is interested in music and movies and culture and politics and just things in general.
Yeah, like like shout out to every person who works for a church, but when they only want to talk about church, I'm like, you're boring. Like I want to almost never talk about it because everything we do, because I'm in a place now where I feel like everything we do it is become our environment and our atmosphere. So by not talking about it, we're still talking about it and we naturally come back to it. But it starts in music, or it finishes in fashion, or like or it's a book, or it's chess, or it's and there's so many of these different outlets, and then we can bring it back home to what we care about the most. But I do feel like those are the things that make me interested in other people is their differences, their quirkiness. Like my friend Dan Spillman, who listens to this podcast, so he's gonna know I'm talking about him.
Hey Dan.
Dan is the most quirky person alive, but but like I stand in awe of him when I talk to him. I'm like, you're literally a genius, and I don't know if you're quite sure all the time. But he is specific. He likes things the way he likes things, and it's why I like working with him because he's an architect and he sees the world in such a specific way, and he organizes in that way in his brain. And then, but we like almost. Like we'll surf and we'll talk about architecture for like 2 hours in the water, and I'm bugging him, I'm drilling him, like asking what projects he work on, how did he get here, what were the decisions he made. But you just has like a different layer than just what his architecture is, like his family and his relationships and what he's interested in, and you would never know from meeting him outside of a Monday through Friday that he's an architect.
It's funny because like as I was thinking about people who I find to be really interesting, and right. Quite a few people come to mind, but two of them right away is I have this friend named Albert Aquino, and then I have this friend named Kevin Liu.
So true.
And some of the things that are in common to me about both of them is that they're interested in everything.
Everything.
They're interested in culture. They're interested in fashion. They're interested in sports. It's almost like you could just go from topic to topic and subject to subject, and it's just so natural because you don't even have to say, hey, I'm changing the subject. It's just
a roller coaster.
It's just this like natural ebb and flow of relationship and interest. And
if you followed Kevin Liu on Instagram, you'd think he's a chef. Like I'm like, how do you cook Doug confit in your house during the quarantine? He's like, I got you a recipe.
Yeah, while you're painting a masterpiece.
Yes, like he's actually like he sells his paintings to like really famous 5-star hotels and like does hundreds of paintings for the rooms.
Since we're talking about that, and I'm featuring him in my upcoming line.
Are you?
I am.
How are you featuring him?
Well,
the next season?
No, this season.
I haven't seen him on this season.
No, you don't know. It's a little of a secret because when I was in KL, when the world was traveling, when we could go to Malaysia freely,
Right.
I was talking to him about The Way of the Warrior,
Okay.
my last book, and I said, Kevin, I want you to create an image for me, a painting that describes the warrior of peace. And I think in our conversations, I don't know why, but I've always been interested in dandelions, and so he had this art piece he made for me, and it's hanging in my house.
The dandelions are him?
The dandelion blowing in the wind.
No way.
So I called him in KL and I said, hey, I'm going to come out with a new line and I want to do a few really unique prints. Could I do something inspired by the dandelion that you painted for me that is a visual image of the warrior of peace? And he said, I would be so honored.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so I
love
have
it.
some pieces coming out this next
That's
week.
so cool.
And so when you see the dandelion, it's actually inspired by Kevin Liu.
He's
And
so
the image he
cool.
created based on the warrior of peace. So I love that.
I love it.
But I love people who are interested in everything. They're interested in life, and they're interested in even things that are obscure. I mean, you know me. You guys would always bug me because I'm interested in animals and insects, and
In the weirdest way.
I'm always studying like biology and
So much. You love science.
I love science, and I love studying black holes and supernovas, and you know, it just event horizons and all that stuff. It just absolutely fascinates me. But there's not a lot of people you can talk about all these things with, and so for me, finding interesting people is one of the great gifts in life.
You know what I realized? Should we go political a little bit or no? Stay positive. Should we stay positive?
today.
Okay.
Stay positive.
We
Well,
can
stay
make it the
positive.
whole way.
We're 30 minutes in. Should we wrap it up and just say thank you to everyone who's listening?
All right, but I want to give them like a package.
Okay.
Today.
But they got a package.
They got a package because we're
They
talking
got
about
passion.
how to make your day most productive, and we talk about passion. Bring your passion to every day.
Yes.
What else?
Bringing collaboration to your life and to all the things
Don't
you
do it alone. Find people who can help
Yes.
you achieve great things. Well, you
And
help them achieve
yes,
great things.
that's the thing.
Yes.
That is the thing.
Yes.
That is what I miss about New York City. New York, New York. See, it was there's like a different meaning when people ask you in New York, what do you do? I felt like the intention was they're like ruthless to achieve. So they would always help you because they knew if they helped you, you'd be willing to help them.
See, but I like
Whereas
that collaboration.
I love
that.
It felt like a transaction, but it was also a relational transaction.
Yeah.
But where in LA, it's like, what do you do? How can you help me? That's how I always feel about LA. And I can't because I don't produce movies and I don't direct. So like I have no interest in even saying what I do other than like you can come and find out and get to know me. Like I'll never tell anyone what we do right away because I'm like, no, if that's, you want surface level connection, or if you're actually interested, you can come and let us know. And by like relationship and over time. Whereas in New York, I'm like, I felt like people were really fascinated by differences.
Yeah.
And so if like you knew you worked or you were highly spiritual, you were highly this, it didn't make people nervous. It made people like more interested. Like, okay, you're genuinely unique. I don't know. I feel like LA's got to step it up sometimes.
And maybe focus on helping others succeed before you focus on getting others to help you succeed.
What can you do for someone else?
And the third thing we looked at for being highly productive is hard work.
Well, I said commitment,
Or commitment, yeah.
but you said hard work.
Yeah, commitment. I think it's that sense of determination.
Yes.
And that you're just not
Drive.
going to give up when it's hard.
Even though I would like to give up when it's hard.
And there are days we're tired and we don't want to do battle ready.
Yeah.
And then we get up, we get in here, and then once you're doing it,
Honestly, I quit. What was it Friday or Saturday I quit? I was like, I think I'm done.
yeah.
I'm done. 49, I'm good. I can't get to 50. I can't. And then someone made me mad and I was like, I can get to 50.
No, but here we are, episode 50. I'm so excited.
I am
Congratulations.
excited too. We got here.
This is so good. And it's just about hard work, determination, consistency, getting in there and
Yes.
and watching good things happen because you do hard work.
I know. And so I want to thank every single person who shares the episode each and every week, who posts about us, who DMs us, who emails us, who's a part of the journey. And honestly, like follow the Instagram, email us, and just, but more than anything, like I think we got to shut down that email. I don't know. Honestly, I can't even email everybody back. I'm trying. You comment in the comments and I will see them.
And keep the
like our
comments
best thing.
brief.
No, I love the long.
Okay, never mind.
But no. Too long should be a DM.
Okay.
Like sometimes it's like I get it, but
I just feel like comments should be brief. They should not be like essays.
no, it
you
shouldn't
know?
be. I delete a lot of the essays.
Yeah. So is it tryptophan?
Tryptophan.
Tryptophan. So fight the tryptophan.
Fight the sleepiness.
Do not let yourself move into lethargy. Let's finish December strong. Let's be productive every single day. Let's do something good every day for the month of December.
Yes. I want to read a quote, but keep going.
Oh, that's good. You're going to read a quote. We're upgrading. Now we're bringing education into this.
No, but keep going.
30 days to be your most productive self. Every day, pick one thing you're going to do. At the end of the day, you're going to look back and say, I'm proud that I did that. I gave everything I had. I brought my passion. I brought people together, collaborated, and I worked hard at doing this. And I guarantee you that eventually hard work will be mistaken for talent.
I'm just trying to figure out who. Oh, this quote by this poem by Dylan Thomas. It's in Interstellar that I love, and it says, "Do not go gentle into that good night." And it has nothing to do with this podcast.
No, it does.
Except for, I'm trying to find the full one. Oh, here it is. Do not go gentle in that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. I love that one. Good men the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. I don't know what that means. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. I love this poem so much. Okay, I'm good.
No, I want you to say it one more time. But
It's so long. It says it like 8 times.
Read
Do
that
not
opening
go
part with
gentle
meaning.
into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. I love that.
That's so good. Do not go gentle into the night. Battle ready. Here we
Battle
go.
ready. Rate and review this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Comment on Instagram, DM us, let us know you're listening and you're watching, share this with your friends. Honestly, the fact that this thing keeps growing and the fact that you keep listening is the greatest honor, and we love it so much.
And we're so excited. We want to be with you because you've chosen to be with us.
Honestly, I think we need to do a tour and we need to do a book, a Battle Ready book and a Battle Ready tour.
All right, so
That'd be super fun.
if you want to put a comment,
tell us where we should go.
all right, I'll say this. If we get 100 unique comments from a city, that's going to be our first cities that we're going to go to.
100%.
All right, so if we get 100 unique comments from New York or Chicago or Miami or wherever it may be, that's where we're going to set up our tour.
All right, let's go.
All right,
Ready.
here we go.